This is problem 3.7 from end of chapter problems, end of chapter 3 problems in the CFA Institute textbook, Corporate Finance, A Practical Approach. And here the problem tells us a financial analyst wants to compute the weighted average cost of capital using a dividend discount model. So they've got debt and they've got common equity, and that's the only two pieces. So to calculate a weighted average cost of capital, all right, the type of capital, all they have is debt and equity, and I need to get the weights. All right, so if I start with weight and cost, then I just multiply weight times cost and then add those numbers together to get the total. All right, so this would be weight times cost. To get the weights, I know the debt to equity ratio. The debt to equity ratio is given in the problem as 0.8033. That means that the debt, there's 80 cents of debt for every $1 of equity. Okay? So, if I take my debt plus equity, the grand total would be 1.8033. The debt divided by debt plus equity would be equal to 0.8033 divided by 0.8033 plus 1. Alright, so that's the proportion of total capital. That's debt. The rest of it's equity. And so you got about 45, 55 as the ratio. Alright, so there's about 45% debt, about 55% equity. To get the cost, the weighted average cost of capital, we can calculate the cost of debt as yield to maturity, and that'd be the before tax cost, times 1 minus the tax rate. Here it's given at 40%. So now I've got an after-tax cost of debt of about 4.8%. And I multiply that times the weight, and now I need a cost of equity to do the same thing. I can use the dividend discount model. Cost of equity would be equal to D1 over P0 plus G. I'll move that away from these answers a little bit. Alright, so I've got next year's dividend divided by the current price, and then add the long-term estimated growth rate. So now I've got a cost of equity capital around 12%. So the weighted average cost of capital is about 8.79%. Alright, and 9% is the closest number they have over here. So Bucco's weighted average cost of capital would be about 9%.